You look at the food industry all the time. What is Chipotle doing, and what does it need to do to reassure eaters?
Well, listen, the unfortunate thing for Chipotle is that this has been in the news for over a month now. Back when it broke, I thought it would be a minor story that would go away quickly, and unfortunately, they still haven't found the actual cause for what's driving this, and it's spread to 9 states, and so it really has almost grown beyond what it should have. I think the first thing they need to do is figure out what's wrong and where the contamination is coming from. They've certainly been out in front of the story in terms of decontaminating the stores, sanitizing the stores, and but for a chain with a food with integrity tagline, this has been a real hit for them.
What should be the involvement of the CDC, of other government agencies, perhaps?
Well, I think the CDC always plays a role in the need to figure out what went wrong. The challenge is when you have so much local produce and, the food with a story and the food with integrity that they sell involves a lot of local produce, fresh, which very much resonates with the consumer. The CDC needs to make sure that at a local level, at all of these farms and producers, that they're producing products that meet or exceed guidelines. And so there's definitely a role for the CDC to make sure that the food supply is safe.
And of course, as you mentioned, Chipotle puts this focus on fresh, unprocessed foods, which is great for nutrition, but perhaps maybe we need to adjust our expectations because it increases the risk for foodborne illnesses. Is that something that the public should need to adjust to?
Well, yeah, I think it certainly resonates, and almost every major chain is trying to move toward a fresh positioning, right? It's something consumers are looking for. You're right. It's healthier. It's perceived as better for you, and so the public is clamoring for that. It really behooves the chains and the government to make sure it's safe because that's where the consumer is at, and I don't think they're going to want to go back to more processed or pre-prepared foods. Fresh is really very important to consumers, and that's going to continue to grow.
For these kind of companies, it really is about store openings. That's what makes them that sexy growth stock. What does this E. coli outbreak do to curb its ability to open new stores?
Good question.
Well, listen, they were up 12% last year in terms of total sales on a lot of unit openings. I think to some degree they are a maturing chain, and so you can't continue to expect Chipotle to continue to grow double-digit every year when it's a $4 billion chain now. You just run into the law of large numbers, and so I think they need to provide some guidance to investors and to the public that perhaps their growth won't be as great. I mean, we saw the stock sliding even before this hit. They've been having challenges meeting their same-store sales numbers from a year ago. It's just been exacerbated by this, but certainly, they're probably in a more mature position today than they were a year or two ago, and it's going to be harder for them to grow regardless of the E. coli situation.
What is the response of the competition, and what should it be if this continues to dog Chipotle?
Well, I think, every QSR, whether you're a fast casual or whether you're, more of a traditional QSR, you do live in fear of a food safety outbreak. And so I think, you haven't seen many people dancing, so to speak, on the misfortunes of Chipotle. Because everybody could be in the similar situation, and they have been. And so I think, competitively, the fast casual market as a whole is increasingly competitive, and this whole build your own, and whether it's in Mexican or build your own pizzas or whatever,
right,
is just increasingly competitive, and consumers have a lot more options today than they did, and I think that's one of the things weighing down on Chipotle right now.